Scowl voices in the garden. I should investigate. If they were to find somebody... I cannot enter. It's locked, all right. Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed.
Always a pleasure to meet a colleague, sir. Especially when he was supposedly dead.
A colleague? Are you a doctor too?
Not anymore, sir. I used to be Dr. Rakesh Chadana. Now, I'm just Mr. Chadana, pawnbroker and humble guardian of this morgue.
What do you mean, you used to be a doctor? Was your license revoked?
No, sir. It is just that I like to be precise. I run a little pawn shop while taking care of the dead. But I used to be a real doctor.
Are you afraid or uneasy being surrounded by so many corpses?
Why should I? These bodies are empty vessels. Flesh left to decay. Poof. No soul anymore. All gone.
An interesting point of view. And quite an exotic one, too. Most people fear, or at least have a respect, for dead flesh.
Sir, as a medic during the war, I learned to face my death and the death of others. It's the pain we have to tame, not death itself.
How did you get this job?
After I left the army, I worked as an undertaker down by the docks. A dangerous place with many an unpleasant business there. Milton Hooks helped me get a job here.
Do you work here alone?
Yes, very easy work, sir. All I have to do is watch a few bodies. The situation was very different when the main morgue was still open.
Why do you have to watch these bodies?
Because these poor fellows have no names. We keep them in case someone comes looking for the missing. Sadly, very rarely happens.
Why close the hospital's main morgue?
It was for sanitary reasons after the beginning of the epidemic. Cadavers had to be moved to the nearest mass grave.
Have we met before?
I don't think so, sir. Why?
When we first talked, you said you were glad to meet me since I was reported dead.
Funny story, sir. Your sister came here a few nights ago. You were missing, and she was looking for your body. She must be very relieved now.
Are you afraid or uneasy being surrounded?
Why should I?
Do you work?
Yes, very.
A pawnbroker? I expect you get all types of people here.
Yes, sir. All kind of people. For I sell all kind of goods.
Who comes here to trade with you? It's very unhygienic, even unsafe. Diseases can spread. For the customers, for the hospital.
I'm very cautious, sir. I've been a doctor, remember? And all my clients are good people. In fact, I think I only know good people.
What kind of goods?
With the quarantine, it's not always easy to buy things. So I trade, I exchange. Some people sell, some others buy. I like to help.
Since you're not afraid of dying, do you believe in life after death, Rakesh?
No. I believe we must do all the good we can while alive. For our time is short, and the obstacles are endless.
Do you think you would enjoy immortality as a concept?
I don't think so. Don't mistake me. I love life, and I'd like to live a long life. But everything has to decay, sir. Even goodwill.
Do you really believe goodwill cannot last?
As I said, sir, everything decays. If I was to never die, goodness, I would be bored or worse. And I like to be helpful, sir.
Quite depressing, wouldn't you say?
Yes, But the good news is, we'll all die before losing our humanity, sir.
So you're ready to die?
No, I am not. I don't fear death, for I won't see it. What troubles me is the pain my death will inflict to those I know.
You're a wise man, Mr. Chidana.
No, Dr. Reed. I am a foolish man. But I like to think otherwise.
Please show me what you have to sell.
Of course. It's just trinkets and curios, really. But I'm sure they can be useful.
It's locked, all right. Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed.
Reed? Yes, I've been informed about your arrival.
Does my arrival inconvenience?
Let us just say that I don't particularly...
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please...
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on the...
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital...
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed.
There is no need for such animosity between us. Don't you think the epidemic is already enough to deal with?
That is one point we could agree on.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you...
We're here to save lives. The people who trust...
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
This is ridiculous. My blood transfusion technique saved many lives, and you know it.
You see? That is exactly what I hate about people like you. You avoid this kind of accusation instead of facing reality.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd. I don't know what you...
I don't question your...
And what exactly...
I served in the war, just...
Be careful what you insist.
I only want you to admit you...
This is ridiculous.
You see?
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later. Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed.
I don't know if a third opinion is needed.
I see.
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me...
Tell me about yourself.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before.
I'm a carpenter, and a good one too. But that means I need...
Are you satisfied with your treatment?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable, and your colleagues seem to think so.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Ackroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is, I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
I will not let you down, my boy.
Good evening, Mr. Fiddick. Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick.
Sweet girl. Reads me like a book.
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be...
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us. I am Thoreau Strickland, Doctor.
Please, could you tell me something?
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning...
What made you choose...
I'm not ashamed to admit you and you...
It's always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with someone eager.
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster.
I based my technique on my mentor's research. He helped me
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just...
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may...
You're not the first one to warn me.
What can you tell...
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea.
Do you need help with anything in particular?
Well, yes, maybe.
Do you want me to play the errand boy?
Oh, no, Dr. Reed. But if you went
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time. You seem quite optimistic.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test.
Questions remain about our capacity.
True. Last summer, during the first...
What do you think of Dr. Ackroyd's aversion to modern medical methods?
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory.
With the influenza and all that's going on,
I believe that if Dr. Ackroyd had been the one to discover...
So you believe it's just a question?
Dr. Ackroyd is as proud as he is blinded by his obsolete concept of medical science.
Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated.
What is it you really want? To save him? Or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient.
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick...
But why would he hide such crucial...
Because he is a proud father. Ashamed.
This personal involvement could also...
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr. Ackroyd's...
Do you think keeping his distance...
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with...
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
I'm quite busy right now, Dr. Reed.
Tell me, Waverly, what do you think of Dr. Strickland's enthusiasm for his experimental research?
Strickland is playing with his patients' lives for pride and...
Are you thinking about something?
Harvey Fiddick needs delicate surgery.
And are you not afraid that your rivalry...
Rivalry? I guess you could...
Why do you wish to...
I strongly believe that Mr. Fiddick should not be...
I really hope you're right about this, Dr. Ackroyd.
I'm not the kind of man who runs away from...
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
Falling apart. But in the circumstances, I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Any news about my operation?
Tell me about your injury, Harvey. Why do you feel so guilty about it?
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
How could your job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German bomb raid.
You can't hold yourself responsible.
Of course I didn't hurt myself.
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915. I was in the army, building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps. Helen was happy I wasn't sent to the front.
What happened?
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb the construction site, but they missed their target. My wife was bringing my dinner when the bombs fell.
I'm sorry for your loss. So many died during the bombings. I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea. I just know that I'm all that me kids have. Poor little...
How are your children after losing...
They were smaller then. The only good thing about...
Goodbye for now.
My sweet girl. Reads me like a book.
Good evening, sir.
Unless you're here,
I'm Dr.
you guessed.
How is your stay?
Oh, it's Blake.
Can I ask?
It's the pain.
Can I do it?
Nurses.
Who is treating you?
Nobody since the old and tired.
You don't seem
My
worried.
face hurts so much.
Where were you stationed, sir?
I really...
No offense.
You were an officer.
Goodbye for now, Mr.
Of disgust on every street corner.
Good evening, Mr. Hampton. How do you feel?
Dr. Reed, is it? Oh, so...
What do you mean? You remained perfectly nice and polite.
Thank you, Doctor. That's...
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behavior.
Why did he...
William was an alcoholic.
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton. Or a...
I'm just a man trying to help.
Do you know Tom Watts? The bartender from the Turtle? I met...
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand.
People are still in despair.
How could...
Who should I avoid in this pub?
Not really.
What is the general...
The situation is...
Who leads the...
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show. With...
Has the gang been...
Ah, no.
What do you do for a living, Mr...
I manage a night...
Are you a...
Not at all.
Why didn't you...
That's a very...
Have you made friends?
Not really.
You never...
You're preaching.
How do you feel, Mr. Hampton?
I feel exhausted.
You're in good hands.
Thank you, sir.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton. I cannot enter.
Fear and disgust on every street corner. Daily route.
It's locked, all right. Dr. Swansea is right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research. Good evening, sir.
I've already...
That's quite a...
You can call me...
I'm not sure.
Well, I'm not...
You have a...
No need...
I'd like to...
Wise choice, Doc.
Here again.
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doc.
And I'm Doc...
Well,
How would you
it's serious.
You must... Nurse Hawkins,
I wish I...
how long have you...
were long enough to see that the epidemic...
You're right. When dealing with such a...
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse Brannigan.
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the...
Not well. Milton the Amp...
Why is...
Milton's not the...
Why does Mil...
I don't know.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins. Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed.
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal.
I beg your pardon?
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is...
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
Please, describe to me how you feel. What is it like to be a vampire?
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades. I sense the last pulse of postulant blood within my drying veins. I need new blood.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul, or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say? Oh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is I who am delusional.
I'm assuming you must be a patient here. Am I right, Miss Howcroft?
It's only a cover. To hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want. As a woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure. But I sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry. These people will not find you here. I'll personally make sure they leave you alone.
Thank you, mortal. But do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you? What do you require? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
It was such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark. This must be the place. It's definitely away from prying eyes. Relegated to the shadows. A kingdom of my own. At least I won't be sleeping in a coffin. William Bishop's blood is much more unstable than human blood and shows extensive mutation. But this is... The sun is about to rise. I can feel it. I'll continue tomorrow night. I have so much time now. If I'm to stay here until my research is complete, I'd better learn to hide my true nature from the mortals. But what about my thirst for blood?
Dr. Swansea asked me to collect you, Dr. Reed. Hurry up!
Yes, Nurse Crane? How can I help you?
I'm so sorry. I know Dr. Swansea wanted you to rest, but we have somewhat of a crisis.
A crisis, you say?
Our supply of antiseptics is nearly depleted. I was hoping there was another box up here, but...
Sorry. There's nothing here.
Some of the patients won't last the night without them. Honestly, sir, I'm beside myself.
I may have a solution. In France, during the war, drugs shortage was a daily problem, and we had to use our wits to overcome the shortages.
However do you mean?
If combined correctly, certain household chemical products can be used in a pinch instead. Now, where's the hospital storeroom?
The storeroom? Fat chance. This is the Pembroke, and space is luxury we don't have. Everything used to be stored in the old morgue.
Perhaps I should look there first. Where is this morgue?
It's the large building behind the hospital. You'll need to go in the back door because it's been sealed off for sanitary reasons. Take this key. It opens a small back entrance at the end of a narrow street.
The abandoned morgue behind the hospital. A small door at the end of a narrow street. On my way then. Thank you, nurse. Good evening, Mr. Cox.
Dr. Reed. Still working at night, I see. I like that.
And why is that?
People who don't sleep at night always seem more alive.
Do you ever think about that poor fellow I saw you push in the water?
The wound he gave me will make sure I don't forget him. It still fucking hurts. Boss had cut me good.
That man was determined to murder you. You almost died.
What a surprise. The first time I met him, he nearly shit himself. Fucking coward. I guess revenge gives you balls.
What did he want? Revenge?
I recently had to kill his brother. Poor arsehole thought it would be easy to return the favour.
You're a monster, Mr. Cox. An ungrateful and disgusting man.
I'm the toughest bastard you'll ever meet, Dr. Reed. And I don't give a fuck what you think of me.
How is your hospitalization going, Mr. Cox?
This is a shitty place with shitty staff. As long as I'm treated all right, I'll be fine.
What's wrong with the Pembroke staff?
That bastard you sent to bring me here, Milton. I thought he was going to break all my bones before I reached my bed.
I see. Any other smart comments?
The nurses aren't too ugly. Especially that foxy one, Nurse Crane. Pretty brunette, tough attitude, all like that.
What's wrong with the hospital?
Come on, Dr. Reed. The place is a dump. Smelly, sad, and dirty.
But you're alive thanks to the efforts and dedication of the staff here, aren't you?
What are you expecting, a medal? I thought that saving lives was just part of the job. Must be an unsatisfactory profession at this time, I'm sure.
How long do you think you can escape the law, Clay?
I know this city like the back of my hand, Doc. I know its streets, who to pay, who to avoid, and who to bully. I won't get caught.
The police may be slow, but they will find you eventually.
Well, how come you didn't turn me in then? Nah, Doc, I figure you have something to hide so you can't ask the coppers for help.
How long do you think you can...
I know
the police...
Well, how come you...
I'll leave you for now, Mr. Cox. So, Mr. Hooks and Nurse Hawkins are an item. Those two have hidden their affections well. I cannot enter. Behavior is similar to the infected William Bishop. Must be the same strain. This sickness moves faster than influenza. Balls of Mars, fortifiers. As popular as they are ineffective. But they do contain iron tartrate, and that might prove itself useful.
This key will surely grant me access to the basement. These skulls feed from corpses and the husks of animals. I'm not after blood.
Mr. Connor's injuries don't match the report. Traces of a pinkish foam at the corner of the lips. Some sort of drug overdose, perhaps? Multiple abrasions and scarring on the arms and legs. Old and distinctive injuries of a sailor or a fisherman. The chest was originally opened to perform the operation. The sutures are clean, but the chest has been reopened. A puncture over the left lung, possibly a chest tube insertion. Not the cleanest work, but I think it was successful. Signs of internal bleeding. So, Dr. Tippett's anesthetics were incorrectly dosed, causing the patient's death. And then he tried to operate on him again. Tippett has made an egregious error. It's time we talked. It's locked. Scowls can be so ferocious. I'm not sure I can defeat them without becoming stronger. To drink blood is so tempting.
Sodium hypochlorite. Dangerous to administer, but efficient in the proper dosage.